Me, 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 me.
Welcome to yet another edition of Mental Health News! This is the Christmas 2008 edition. Notice a big sock and a candy cane behind me and a tree that serves as my tie. Yes, the Mental Health News Hour is the show where you can dream while still being awake. The show... What's in your stocking? Snails, nails, and puppy dog tails. No, wait, no. Sugar and spice and all things nice. And you got snails and nails and puppy dog tails.
Apparently I'm not very nice to you.
Well, I like snails. That's escargot.
Okay.
Nails are useful for applying two things and connecting them.
We've only had on the show like a minute and we're already on a tangent.
Oh, shut up.
That is the rule of this show, is to find our way to tangents as quickly as possible and then...
You're boss, don't you?
I'll start reading the bullets.
Okay.
He's swallowing, let's talk.
Misery in life is U-shaped.
U-shaped.
This is from the University of Warwick, Social Science and Medicine Center or something. Researchers from the University of Warwick at Dartmouth College conducted a meta-survey and looked at data of 2 million people from 80 nations. They found an extraordinarily consistent pattern in depression and happiness levels that leaves us most miserable in middle age. That would be me right now.
Is that when you start to get holes in your feet?
Uh-huh. Yes, you get
Everything
holes.
wears out.
Yes.
Where the toenail starts to poke through your lips?
Yeah. And
But not quite yet.
So talk to us about midlife depression.
Neither one of you are quite there yet. Okay, let's see. The pattern of happiness levels followed a U-shaped curve, with happiness higher near the beginning and end of our lives, with misery in the middle.
Go figure.
Doldrums.
That's when you have 5-year-old kids.
Who knew? Yeah. Blah, 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 blah.
We don't have.
Okay,
Socks having kids. How do they do that?
they have finger puppets.
Cute.
Finger socks, little sock cozies. Finger cozies, yeah.
Woman.
Yeah. Actually, she's a sock woman.
Okay, back to the thing.
Okay, previous studies had suggested that well-being played relatively flat as we aged. But a sample of 1 million people, regardless of gender, the probability of depression peaks around 44 years of age. Oh, I'm past the peak then. Scientists found this same U-shaped pattern in 72 countries from North and South America, Europe, Asia, and Central Africa.
This has nothing to do with Christmas.
What appears to be a universal condition in the midlife depression is not altered by having young children in the house, by divorce, or by changes in jobs or income. The dip in mental health and happiness comes on slowly, not suddenly in a single year. By age 50, the mood in general is on the upswing, and depending on physical health, will be comparable to a 20-year-old by the time the person is 70 years old.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are they happy because they're about to die?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Senility.
Senility, that's it.
I did my greatest misery when I was about 30 or so. So
Does that mean you're only going to make it to 60?
Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, me too. Who knew? Yeah, well.
No.
Yeah. Okay, the reason is unknown. Possibilities include people quell their unfeasible aspirations by midlife. Cheerful people live systematically longer. People value more their remaining years and eventually learn to count their blessings. And Big Pharma has not yet developed a pill to treat the midlife crisis.
Wait a minute. What's the one that the guys take all the time for their midlife crisis?
What's the midlife crisis?
They take a Corvette,
Okay.
a sports jacket, and a young girlfriend.
Oh, they dump their old girlfriend?
They dump their wife in favor, like John McCain.
You won't dump your socks, will you?
John McCain did that.
Oh.
His wife was sick and injured, and so he divorced her. And he divorced her and got a rich millionaire wife. Okay, how much time do we got before we do a break?
I'm Gladys.
3 minutes? Okay, I got time to read this.
What is it?
And
I'm listening.
Yeah, this one's a short one.
And go ahead.
Yes. Heavily edited materials by way of McGill University. McHugh, I like you, McGill University. McHugh, yeah, it is. It's a giant McDonald's.
Scientists have discovered important differences in the brains of 13 suicide victims who were child abuse survivors. Go ahead.
As compared to so-called normal brains. The difference was epigenetic marking. We're going to talk about this more because they're learning more and more about this. I've been reading a lot about this lately. The epigenetic marking is a chemical coding called DNA methylation. Okay? The epigenetic marks punctuate the DNA and program it to express the right genes at the appropriate time and place. Ergo, epigenetics is a study of gene function changes that don't involve changes in the DNA sequences, but in the timing and expression of proteins and enzymes that are created from them later in life. Okay? During gestation, our DNA is marked with DNA methylation, which is environmentally sensitive in early life. Researchers believe that detecting similar changes in blood DNA is worth pursuing, which would lead to diagnostic tests and whether we could design interventions to erase these differences in epigenetic markings. The All-McGill study is set to be published May 6, 2008. So that's already happened. Okay, so what that means is...
That's just a bunch of eggheads using big words.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay, so we all got the DNA, but there's this coding on them. And the coding determines when, because what happens
methylation.
is... Yeah.
Annihilation. No, methylation.
Methylation.
Do you know what that's about?
Methyls.
Well, what happens...
Dude, you're my idol.
That's like taking drugs.
Stop, you're going off.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Explain.
It's your DNA on drugs. What happens is...
Can I have more drugs?
Later. You will need them, believe me. What happens is your DNA unzips, a little thing attaches to it and copies a section of it, goes away, zips it back up, and then that little section, it makes copies of those, and those connect together and they turn and twist, and you get enzymes and proteins and coenzymes and all kinds of stuff. Well, what happens is this methylation tells the DNA when to unzip and when not to unzip. So you you may get a lot of serotonin being produced in your brain at an early age, as opposed to someone who gets serotonin being produced a lot later in age.
So child abuse victims don't make serotonin then?
What it is the child abuse affects the level of methylation in the DNA, which affects when certain genes are expressed, when certain proteins are made, at what age, and what amounts, and how much, and what kind, and all kinds of stuff. So it has an effect, but there's more about this later, because I came across all kinds of news bullets about this. Okay.
Wow.
It is time for some socks to sing some Christmas songs for you.
Security cams, they were watching black young men. The cops are stopping. Profiling is right, 'cause bad guys are never white, walking in a right-wing wonderland. You're jailed for sex if you're not married. If you're gay, you're killed and buried. Our choice is all gone, they force us along, weeping in a right-wing wonderland. Our leaders talk like we are almost brainless, hammer a single point into the ground. Their distorted facts are really shameless, spinning ditto drivel all around. The GOP's moral decline, boosted by a corporate gold mine. They keep us afraid, like sheep we are played, cringing in a right-wing wonderland. The ultra-rich have all the social power, making slaves of the working poor. We spend our money on a golden shower and keep us busy with the phony war. We keep our girls barefoot and pregnant, taught to serve, stay mentally stagnant. God says men should rule, it's taught in Sunday school, distracted in a right-wing wonderland. Chauffeured in a right-wing wonderland.
We're back. Okay, I wanted to talk just a little bit more about this before we hit the next news bullet. Here's how it works. You'll have a strand of DNA, and you'll have an enzyme that goes up to it, and it unzips it, right? And so it'll have this half ladder sticking out. Another enzyme will copy that chunk and then go away, and then it'll re-zip back together, and you'll have this little chunk that's grabbed by a piece of RNA, and it'll make multiple copies of this chunk.
Transcriptase, right?
Yes, exactly. And so you'll make this.
I don't have an IQ of 3, I have an IQ of 4.
And a half.
Shut up.
Okay. And then this little thing, depending on how many rungs are on this little half ladder, it'll make little ladders, and these ladders will fold back together, and they will fold, and they will make little proteins, and they'll make enzymes, and they'll make isoenzymes, and they'll make.
But you need proteins.
Hey, why don't we just get back to the point of this anyway?
So the point is
You just don't
that
understand what's going on.
So
that child abuse, child sexual abuse, any kinds of abuse as a child, or any exposure to contaminants or pollutants or abuse like very, very early in age doesn't affect your DNA. It affects how your DNA is expressed and when certain parts of your DNA is expressed. That's what it does.
I used to be a child, but then I got like this?
Yes, you used to be a tiny little ball of yarn. And then you became a big ball of yarn, and then you differentiated into a weave of yarn, and then you grew hair.
Was there any cleavage involved in that?
A little, yes. But we try not to we try not to show too much cleavage, because kids might be watching this, and we just
especially with that face.
Yes. If you had cleavage right there, I would be very, very disturbed and alarmed and worried. Okay, Science Daily. Cambridge scientists research funded by Wellcome Trust. By the Wellcome Trust. That's a big pharma trust. It's a big pharma subsidiary.
So once again, big pharma.
And the Medical Research Council, which is yet another big pharma trust thing, affiliate.
Pharma affiliate trust.
Yep.
Transmitter.
What it is a bunch of big pharma companies will plug money into a thing to do research on how they can sell more of their drugs.
Gotcha.
Basically.
So
suggests that the neurotransmitter serotonin associated with social behavior Also plays a role, exactly, you need more right now, also plays a role in regulating aggression and impulsivity during social decision making. This is one of the first studies to show a causal link between the two. Their findings indicate why some people become combative or aggressive when they haven't eaten. The essential amino acid tryptophan, okay, tryptophan, it's the essential amino acid tryptophan. It comes from turkey, warm milk, chicken, and chocolate. As a matter of fact, chocolate has the highest concentration of antioxidants than any other food.
Yummy.
Any other food.
What does it have to do with tryptophan?
Well, chocolate has tryptophan in it. That's why you're all relaxed and happy and crap when you eat it.
Oh.
And it triggers all kinds of other stuff that are chocolate is an instant antidepressant. Pardon?
We should have done that for a Thanksgiving
Chocolate turkey.
Yeah.
With
Well,
chocolate
we'll have more specials.
Chocolate tofu.
Yeah.
PC
So,
turkey.
ergo, serotonin levels naturally decline when we don't eat, an effect the researchers took advantage of in their experimental technique.
Does that make you depressed?
You can be depressed or irritable, or you don't think as clearly. And that's why a lot of religious leaders have their congregations go without food, is they become easier to manipulate.
Oh.
Yes, the army does that as well.
Is that why you starve us?
Yes.
I feel very manipulated right now.
So I can say,
Take me by hand.
yes, you will
Tonight you're just unglued.
you will spin around. Yes, you'll bounce back and forth. You'll do exactly what you're doing right now. Okay. The researchers were able to reduce brain serotonin levels in healthy volunteers for a short time by manipulating their diet. They used a situation known as the ultimatum game. Have you heard of the ultimatum game?
What's that going to be?
Two people have pretend money, and one person divides the money, and the other person decides whether or not they get their shares. And if the one person dividing the money says, well, I get 70%, you get 30%, then the other person says no, and none of them get money. They've been playing this game in psychological research for years and years. Yeah, it's like if you two were playing the game, you would be the one that divided the money up, and you would be the one that decided whether or not the money gets dished out. Because if you don't
I
like...
want me to decide whether
Well, because you are the divider, you're the one that is the decider.
I mean,
see, that's how it
doesn't
works.
it almost sound fair? Like you cut the cake and I get whatever piece I want?
Yeah, you get to pick the piece, yeah.
Except now
But I would take both pieces.
Cake.
Well, what happens is the person cutting the cake will set it up so that they get the biggest piece of cake. And if the piece is too big, then the decider will say, no, none of us get cake.
Mine.
Does that relate to the turkey thing?
Yeah. People that have low serotonin levels, they were less tolerant. They used a situation known as the ultimatum game to investigate how individuals with low serotonin react to what they perceive as an unfair behavior. In this game, one player proposes a way to split a sum of money with a partner. If the partner accepts, both players are paid accordingly. If he or the partner rejects the offer, neither player is paid. Normally, people tend to reject about half of all the offers, less than 20 to 30% of the total stake, despite the fact that this means they receive nothing. But rejection rates increased to more than 80% after serotonin reductions.
That just meant they were crabby.
Yeah, other measures show that the volunteers, less tolerant, with serotonin depletion were not simply depressed or hypersensitive to lost rewards. So what that means is the ultimatum game, you play it different when you have less serotonin. You're more irritable, less tolerant.
Buy turkey stock.
Yeah. Okay.
And that has to do with DNA's methylase.
Methylation?
Hold that thought, let's sing.
No, not at all. Okay, time for singing sock puppets again. Woo!
Woo! When George Bush took command, the cabinet devised a ruse. In Iraq was planned, but they needed an excuse. But then the towers fell, an opportunity attached to blame it on Saddam Hussein, regardless of the facts. Oh, illegal war, we're buoys all the way. Oh, what fun it is to show the shotgun all day. Hey, legal war, oily war, let's take complete control. We're the superpower telling everyone to blow. They had to fudge the facts exaggerate the threat, give naysayers the axe, go empty record debt. There was no yellow cake, nor WMD, not even an Al-Qaeda link, just lies to you and me. Bush. Bushy war, we made it all the way. Oh, what fun it is to show us how can all day. Hey, oily war, let's take complete control. We're the superpower telling everyone to blow. They tag the enemy so they don't have any rights. They tag the enemy so they don't have any rights. We torture them for free in secret hidden sites. Our leaders think they are above the law so far. Smells like a fascist state with an emperor. Oh, crusading war, knock the natives down. Oh, what fun it is to spread the whiskey peat around. Hey, oily war, what have we become? Evil threat.
Correct.
The evil we are fighting is the evil we have done.
Yeah, that's right.
Hello, we are back. Wasn't that fun? Just to let you know, I repurposed the lyrics of these many different Christmas songs, and I tried not to use the religious ones because I really did.
The original lyrics?
Oh, what's wrong with the religious one?
Well, I didn't want to offend, the religious people too much.
That is anti-Bible.
Well, I took the songs that were like Winter Wonderland and Christmas in Carolina or whatever, stuff like that.
Go straight to hey.
Yes.
Yo.
Actually,
What if we took other religious songs from other religions?
that will be next year. Yeah.
That's because they're all false.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. What's a version of like maybe an Arabic Christmas?
They don't-
Gee, that's a contradiction in terms, isn't it?
Blank, aren't you?
Yeah.
Shut up!
Yeah.
Shut up!
How
I
about
got different ones.
a Hindu Christmas? We're gonna have a Hindu Christmas. Okay. Where
Okay, I'll start reading now.
where Vishnu is,
Wait.
delivers presents to all the children.
Daddy's
Okay.
smart.
Okay.
Daddy's really smart.
Well, thank you, and you're very kind.
Suck up.
He likes me better than he likes you.
No, I love you
I
both.
really don't care.
I love you both. Yeah, scratch
thank
you.
Okay, I'm gonna start reading. 15%
Okay.
more.
This one's from Science Daily. It's from August, and genetic studies of people with schizophrenia have 15% more deletions and duplications of genetic material genome-wide, say researchers from an international schizophrenia consortium team, partly supported by National Institutes of Mental Health, and to 11 different research institutes in the U.S., Great Britain, and Australia. This report is the largest study of its kind to date and published in the journal Nature. The study scanned genomes from at least on the American side, about 4,000 people with schizophrenia and 3,000 healthy controls. Well, this is one example in Europe, but they studied a whole lot of people in the U.S. and a whole lot of people in Australia. Currently, genetic factors are thought to account for 73 to 90% of schizophrenia, but most of these have so far eluded detection. Suspect sites include but are not limited to chromosome 1, 12, 15, 16, and 22. Exactly how the subtly increased number of structural variations in schizophrenia genome sequences might translate into illness remains to be discovered, say the researchers. So what they're finding...
What's
A
a chromosome?
chromosome is...
What's a chromosome?
It's a thing that you can eat, and but it's really small.
Chromosome.
Yeah.
No, he said chromosome.
Chromosome. Yeah.
Chromosome?
Yeah. Chromosomes are you can put them on your salad, and they're very tasty.
Chromosome.
And yeah, stuff like that. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about shock treatment. There was a book. There was a book that you're reading.
Those ones,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
I
Shock
forgot
treatment.
to bring in the book.
Those shock
That's
ones,
okay.
It's right
Yeah, yeah, and we might talk about this next month about shock treatment because it's really, really interesting. There is someone that I was very, very close to that got a lot of shock treatment, and I have a lot of mixed emotions regarding shock treatment. It was very, very helpful for a very, very short period of time, and then the side effects lasted and lasted and lasted and lasted for a long time afterwards. A lot of memory problems, consistent memory problems, not just forgetting the past, but forgetting, not being able to form new memories, having trouble remembering new things, and being easily confused, and a number of other difficulty with the brain stuff.
Is it cause seizures?
Yes, purposely so. Basically, shock treatment...
Trying to mimic seizures.
Well, what it is they started doing insulin shock therapy at the turn of the century, early in the century. And what they would do is they would give someone a massive dose of insulin, and the person would go into a coma. And I think in many cases they would have a seizure. But the idea is that they would shock the person back into normalcy. That was the whole idea. It's like, it stemmed from the idea someone is standing there, la, 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 and you go, slap. And you slap them in the face, and they're like, like this. And during that,
throw water in the face.
That's right. Yeah.
Or smelling salts.
That's right. And during the moment of numbness is when you introduce new information, or you introduce a new medication, or you introduce a new scenario.
Rebooting a computer.
Yeah, it's like rebooting, but your brain is not a computer, and it doesn't even work remotely like a computer.
Ew.
So can I do a tangent?
Sure.
I always say
yeah.
no.
How much time do we got before we got to
go
to a break?
I think
2 minutes.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
I was reading Naomi Klein's book, The Shock Doctrine. Have you read it?
No, but I'm going to.
You read it?
No.
You read it?
Yeah, you should read it.
It was just freaked me out. So the shock doctrine, it's not mental health news type stuff. But I gotta say, the first chapter, she talks a lot about the history of the CIA was part of it. Just think about it. Shock therapy, CIA. Where are we using shock therapy nowadays? Let's give an example. Wait a minute.
I am on the CIA, so shut up.
Okay, here's an example. Okay, I'll be Dr. Dan. Okay, we place one here and one there. Here. The camera's got to be able to see it. We place one there and one there. Yeah.
Now what happens?
Okay, what happens is we watch for a seizure, and you should have at least half a minute of seizure. You should have 10 to 20 seconds of seizures in your brain.
This is sick and twisted.
She has a grand mal seizure, which normally, can kill people, but because the people that get the shock treatment aren't prone to seizures, the seizures don't last and last. Whereas at a grand mal, someone who's prone to seizures, the seizures last, and they do a lot of severe damage.
That's grandma's seizure.
Yeah.
Oh, did she say grandma?
Not grandma.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, then what happens?
Then we give them another one.
Oh, Daddy.
Yep. And they'll be numb for a day or 2 or 3, very numb. And then they'll go back to where they started in the first place.
So should I stay away from economic policy at this time?
Well, how does it? Why do they think that the theory regarding shock treatment to a human brain is useful with regards to economic policy?
Same basic thing. If you've got a patient that's acting all freaked out or whatever it is, and you figure you're going to reprogram them, just wipe their brain clean, and give them a chance to start off with a fresh.
Right.
So you've got a small period of time where you can be very suggestive. In this case, your new suggestion is drop healthcare, drop social services, drop, whatever it is.
Yep. It's interesting.
But read the book. We're not doing a very good job.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. So that's a really good book. And what it is they try and take one theory that applies to one area, and they try and apply that theory to other things that are not at all the same. They're not the same at all.
There's a guy with his hands, and he's going.
Maybe.
Oh yeah. He's telling us that we must have yet more singing sock puppets. Okay. Woo!
Have yourself a commercialized Christmas. Get the latest crap. It must be good 'cause they got it at the Gap. We are bored, so we shop the mall. A family outing for us all. 'cause we've thrown away all our friends like a broken doll. Every year in the suburban center, we consume like mad. So if you paid your bill, you will need it bad. And have yourself a Merry Purchase Christmas fad. And have yourself a Merry Purchase Christmas fad. Lofty mansions in the Hamptons and a yacht in the bay. In the air there's a feeling of privilege. Aha! Exemption loopholes, tax-free payroll, in a perfect white smile. And in every fat condo you'll hear golden jewels, swimming pools, oh, Beamers and Hummers so pretty, diamond rings, bling-a-bling. Oh, how these dividends pay. Hire the wetbacks, pay them back pats, have their kids toil for free. You're too selfish to cover their health care. See the poor folk, lower class joke, how the commoners live. You're so out of touch, all you hear. Market share, brand new hair, personal trainer on Wednesdays. Money rules, control the fools. Privilege is the only way.
That's interesting. That is not us. There we go. Hello! We're back once again.
News. Psychopath had a very shocking dream. He zapped all the little
Actually, I think it was Rudolph the Right-Winged Reindeer. I think that's what the song was.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
make up lyrics.
Yeah.
Rudolph the right-winged redneck.
Or I could read another news bullet.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Okay, this one is the cost of your brain.
Whoa.
Research.
My brain, your brain.
Actually,
brain's
it's
just a nickel.
not the actual monetary cost, but the cost of our smart brains.
Oh.
Research published in Biomed Central's open access journal Genome Biology magazine, online thing, whatever, contains a new theory that suggests that schizophrenia is a costly byproduct of human brain evolution, because unique human cognitive abilities have been pushed to the limit of its capabilities. Researchers investigated brains from healthy and schizophrenic humans and compared them with chimpanzee and rhesus macaque brains, those little monkeys. The whole idea is that certain neurological diseases are byproducts of increases in metabolic capacity and brain size. Specific evolutionary changes found in humans, such as cognitive functions, language, and complex social relationships, are those most affected in schizophrenia. And that does make sense. Are you guys not getting along?
He's touching me.
Do I have to?
That's because you're paying too much attention.
Do I have to turn this car around?
So what was the gist of that paragraph?
Don't make me take my sandal off of my foot.
Tell him to stop touching me.
You know, I've got better things to do than to sit here and complain with another sock when I want to know
Okay.
something.
What?
What were you just
What?
saying about schizophrenia?
What is your request?
Oh, never mind.
That's okay. We can
it's
still
brain.
talk about it.
It's the
Yeah.
size of your brain, so you have no problem by staying sane.
Would you please relate that to something?
Because you have such a small brain.
Oh. Who knew? You know, I thought that's what you're getting at, but it's kind of like, it was a little convoluted. Okay. The whole idea is that schizophrenia is convoluted, distorted, difficult, not direct, winding, indirect, that sort of thing. Convoluted. The idea is that schizophrenia is a disease of a sentient species. The idea is that if chimpanzees became sentient, then they would get schizophrenia. And if dolphins became sentient, they would get schizophrenia. That this high-end use of our brain, the cognitive and the social relationships and the language and all that.
Is that why I hear voices?
Indeed. That means you're really smart and screwed up as a result.
Oh. Can I tell you what voices I heard?
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Later. Later. How much time do we got?
It was a little
Good.
bee that
Okay.
was buzzing in my sock.
So,
It was going bzzz.
so you got a buzz then?
It was going bzzz.
Yeah, you got a buzz, huh? Okay. Science, you guys will love this one. This one is like thick and sweet. A recent White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, and when I say White House, be suspicious. This is the Bush White House, by the way, called ONDCP report, released to coincide with May's Mental Health Awareness Month, says that 2 million American teens report having weeks of happiness, of hopelessness and loss of interest in normal activities, and are less than half as likely to use marijuana and other drugs.
That means if you're depressed, you won't use marijuana, right?
You know, I think I screwed this news bullet up. It was supposed to be more than half.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more than half. Yeah, because I remember altering this little bullet because, you know, I'll get the news bullet and it's like 4 pages and I got to chunk it down so I can try and read it, and I'll make little mistakes. So
just summarize once again real quick.
Okay, it claims that this drug can exacerbate or worsen depression, that marijuana, that it doubles the likelihood of having serious mental disorders such as schizophrenia, anxiety, and suicide. Okay?
Smoke pot.
Okay. Here's how we know that this is wrong.
No drugs.
No.
Okay, here's how we know that this is wrong. We just read a bunch of stuff
smoke pot.
about how schizophrenia is based on gene mutations, and here this White House is saying that schizophrenia is a result of drug use.
It's fuzzy.
Okay?
Uh-oh.
That is wild.
Whoa.
That's crazy wild how that looks.
Is that in my head or your head?
That's in all of our heads. We all
You
have
just
schizophrenia.
messed up.
We have videoschizophrenia right now.
Schizophrenia.
Yeah, videoschizophrenia. Okay.
Sufrenia.
So basically the White House is talking crap again. Okay. The report that self-medicating is associated with depression, suicidal thoughts, and suicide attempts. Depressed teens are also more likely to engage in other risky behaviors such as daily cigarette use and heavy alcohol use.
Yum.
John B. Walters, Director of National Drug Control Policy, said, parents must not dismiss their moodiness as passing phase. Look closely at your teen's behavior because it could be a sign of something more serious. There is also some evidence that in vulnerable teens, because of genetic factors, the abuse of marijuana can trigger schizophreniform disorder, which is crap. It's crap, okay? That's crap. I know it's crap. I'm not a doctor, but I know that's crap. I know crap when I see it.
Don't you believe what the doctor said?
No, he's the Director of National Drug Control Policy. He's not a doctor. He's a plant. He's a talking head. He's a
vested interest.
Yes, he's in there because of his politics, not because he knows anything. Oh, right.
So
He's
when
an
you sound
authority.
authoritative, you're full of BS.
Yeah. Just because an authority says it is a fallacy that it's something to listen to.
Argument from authority.
We should listen to facts. Just because an authority person says it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Facts are what make it true. Okay, one more minute. Teens who smoke marijuana at least once a month and 3 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts, although marijuana use among teens has dropped by 25% since 2001. Therefore, suicidal ideation should have dropped by 25% as well. Shouldn't it have? You know, if you're gonna make a claim, and then you have some other evidence that counters your claim, and you use that counter in your evidence, then you look like a douchebag. Okay, the White House, they're filled with douchebags, and I'm so glad we have a dude coming back in.
Lacey was filled with douchebags.
No, Lacey's filled with cowboys. Okay. Okay, schizophrenia form is characterized, okay? Schizophrenia form is characterized by the presence of schizophrenia symptoms, including delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, disorganized or catatonic behavior, negative symptoms, and negative symptoms. The disorder, including a prodromal, non-specific symptoms, active and residual phases last longer than 1 month, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and they say marijuana causes that. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I know crap when I see it. And, you know, it's coming from the Bush White House. It is crap. Complete, utter crap. And we got to go for more singing socks. Okay, woo!
Draft cards roasting on an open fire. Drill sarge nipping at your nose. Conscripts cadence from behind razor wire. Drafties lined up. Crap, I did it again. Drafties lined up in happy rows. Everybody knows it's dirty when the missile blows. Tactical nukes help win the fight. A heap of lies as all the money flows helps rich white men sleep tonight. They know their God will save the day. He'll bless Christians that cash that shoot and pray. And every coming war we're told the lie. And see if piggies really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple tune for drafties marching to Iran. Though it's been said many times, many ways, Bush and Cheney, screw you.
Hello, we're back! And we are back for the last segment of the Mental Health News Hour for December 2008. And when I tell you that we do this because we love you, yes, decisive and derisive knowledge will be gained. Okay, so I'll read this very quickly and then we'll talk about it because it's fascinating. Heavily edited news from Columbia U Medical Center 0508. So this one is from May of this year. Okay, and it was published in the journal Nature, and I found it in 2 different places online. And that's what I'll do. I'll find a news bulletin in like 2 or 3 different places. The same thing, but different places. Families with no history of schizophrenia have offspring with 8 times more spontaneous mutations affecting brain development than healthy controls. However, researchers found no spontaneous mutations in people with schizophrenia with a family history of the illness. Specifically, scans revealed rare spontaneous copy number mutations account for about 10% of those studied. The new data may explain the persistence of schizophrenia in a population despite low birth rates among people with the disease. Okay? There was a common deletion in chromosome 22. We talked about that, and they talked about the segment 22q11.2, which is the only known recurrent mutation linked to schizophrenia. Study subjects were a genetically homogeneous population of Afrikaners in South Africa, ideal for genetic evaluation. It's currently estimated that about 40% is inherited, 60% is sporadic, and that such mutations are increasingly being implicated in schizophrenia and autism. Thus, the goal is for psychiatrists to be able to inform patients and their families about the mutation responsible for the disease, providing relief and other tailored medications for that specific mutation.
That way, if I want to invent that means I make $1 billion, right?
Well, what it is, you know, you're diagnosed with schizophrenia and the doctor says, or is for psychiatrists to be able to inform patients and their families about the mutation responsible for the disease, providing relief and other tailored medications for that specific mutation.
That way, if I want to invent that means I make $1 billion, right?
Well, what it is, you know, you're diagnosed with schizophrenia and the doctor says, we know that you have a bad chromosome and that whodunit. We can't cure you, The medications won't necessarily make you any better, but that's the cause. We're not going to blame it on your mother anymore. We're going to blame it on your mother's genes. The study was supported by National Institutes of Health, National Institutes of Mental Health, the Lieber Center for Schizophrenia Research at Columbia U Medical Center. So that goes in line with the other news bullets that I read earlier about how gene mutations, spontaneous gene mutations affect schizophrenia and how they just suddenly show up. You'll have a whole family with no history and suddenly there's someone has schizophrenia. Also, DNA methionation is affected by environment. A lot of the books and stuff that I have read about schizophrenia. Well, they talk about how third trimester kind of environmental factors will influence whether or not kids will grow up with schizophrenia.
Give me an example.
LSD.
Zoster. There's a Zoster virus. It's a form of herpes. Some kinds of herpes. Some kind of. There's a few other viral. Mom will get the flu in her third trimester, and she'll get a fever and it will affect the child. Chemical insults, and they found that third trimester insults in the child seem to influence whether or not there's a problem. But that, again, that affects the methionation on the DNA, and it could affect mutations later on down.
Crazy stuff.
It is.
Weird, wild,
it is.
Weird, wild
it is.
Stuff.
Eventually, what they want to do is they want to tailor the medication to specific kinds of genes and to specific kinds of family genetic histories and this sort of thing. They want to have medications that are tailored to you, but not you.
Huh.
That sort of thing. It's
because I got stripes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so they'll have a medication for stripy socks and medications for pinky, hairy socks with arms that don't really do anything, but they just...
But at least I have arms and no other puppet.
Yeah.
You elitist little...
You're jealous.
Something or other.
Yeah.
So what's the point that we should take from today's show anyway?
So today's show, there were a lot of articles about schizophrenia and genes and DNA and methionation and this sort of thing, and how the White House will come up with some sort of a drug policy, and they'll make a whole bunch of crap claims and make a bunch of crap statements that are based on politics and not on real science.
Who are you going to trust, huh?
I'm going to trust the facts.
Oh.
That's who I trust. I trust the facts.
That came in yesterday.
Yeah. Devout religious people will despise evolution because they'll say evolution is just a theory. And yet evolution is the sum total of knowledge of dozens of different separate scientific disciplines that come together and they all agree.
God.
Yeah. Well, what happens?
From God.
Science fiction.
Sounds like you got a tweet system.
Science fiction.
Oh,
Science is about the facts and about supporting the facts and being able to reduplicate or duplicate.
You don't have a tail.
Yeah. Our cameraman has a tail.
No, you don't.
It's about the facts, and calling it a theory doesn't make it less valid. A theory is a theory because it's a theory. The gravity is a theory. Light is a theory. There are a number of different things in science that are referred to as theories, and they're called theories not because they're speculative, but because it's the kind of thing that is constantly being revised by new information. And the theory of evolution is based on genetics. It's based on archaeology. It's based on cosmology. It's based on plate tectonics and geology. It's based on
fossils of socks in the record?
Yes.
Soft tissue?
Socks.
Go figure. How?
Socks.
Buried in sandstone or sockstone. Yes, sockstone.
So there were cave socks, right?
Yeah.
And then what was
before
the cave socks?
Before the cave sock was the saber-toothed leotards. Yeah. And before the saber-toothed leotards was the Cro-Magnon pantyhose. And before the Cro-Magnon pantyhose was the Neolithic cummerbunds. No, wait, that's not a sock. The Neolithic...
Then what do we have to look forward to for next year?
Clubfoots.
Next year, we have some economic stimulus packages coming your way.
Yes.
Hopefully
He's
an
slapping
increase
his
in your
hands around.
wages.
I think that
Hopefully. Well, George Bush will not be in office.
So
And
what does that mean for mental health?
what that means is that mental health might actually get funded a little bit more.
there's some
the
naked
past-
sock puppets running
Yeah,
around
the past
and
8
around.
years there has been a drop in funding for mental health. Slowly an overall drop in funding, but
Who's your lobbyist?
That's
my
why we
lobbyist.
are all getting crazier and crazier.
my lobbyist
about that
is Fred the Sock, who you put soap in the
That's
sock
me.
and then you beat the politicians into submission with
payola.
sock
What
with
kind
soap
of
in a
soap?
sock.
Stinky
Dan's
kind, huh?
handmade
Oh.
soap. Yeah.
Irish Spring, right?
Sure. I'm Irish. Okay, we're out of time. We want to thank you for watching the show, and just remember, people with mental illnesses are people just like you and me. We're all the same. Only people with mental illnesses have extra crap to deal with. Okay, they've got a lot of extra crap to deal with, and so you should be nice. You should be kind. You should listen. You should be patient, and you should try not to give them so much hard time. And there's a lot of people with mental illnesses that don't use drug and alcohol. Okay, there's a strong assumption that everyone with mental illnesses use drugs and alcohol.
They're just born with it.
Well,
What'd you say? I wasn't listening.
well, no, they weren't born with drugs and alcohol. You silly sock you. Anyway, we're out of time, so we will see you next month, and we love you, and we'll see you later. And I'm not a doctor, and you guys are neither, and except you in the back, you might be one when you graduate. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. See you. Bye. 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 Bye.
Oh, hypocrite, how wretched is your thinking. Oh, love and compassion is what you talk, though fear and punishment you hawk. Oh, hypocrite, you simply nod while winking. Oh, hypocrite, it's all about the money. You say we're blessed if our faith be true, especially if we donate to you. Oh, hypocrite, promised land of milk and honey. Oh, hypocrites, authority through your penis. Men and meat and men dictate, every structure facilitate. Oh, hypocrite, we bend so you can read us.
You're gonna be a good little ditto head. You're gonna do as you're told instead. Grab a sign and get in line and don't criticize what we said. Don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. We aim for you. Don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. We aim for you. We need yet another mindless drone. Come be a sheep so you're not alone. Conformity is the only way to go. Don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. We aim for you. We aim for you. Don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. We aim for you. Articulate your way. We use tradition to steer you right along. Fit you in a preform box till the real you is gone. Don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. We aim for you. We aim for you. Don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. We aim for you. Obedient little ditto heads, repeat the arguments you're fed. Praise is strong intolerance, regardless of human circumstance. Don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. We aim for you. We'll tell you what you should say, even though you can't articulate your way. Don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. We aim for you. We aim for you. Don't